Everybody, it's Jenny, and I'm coming to you between my classes this morning to give you an update on something diet related, completely unrelated to this, but this was my reward in my last class, and I just thought it looked so cute because the child was learning about what gingerbread and gingerbread houses were. So we have gingerbread men, gingerbread dogs, gingerbread women, gingerbread houses. And we're getting ready to read the gingerbread man story. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man. All right, so I'll leave it up. It's completely unrelated to dried fruit, but let's talk a little bit about dried fruit. All right, you know what? I'm not going to be long on the whole diet thing, so I might as well just give you my update right now. I didn't have a video yesterday. I went down 1.5 pounds yesterday. I went back up 1 pound today. So it's that just kind of normal variability on the scale. Overall in P3, I'm on day 17, and my weight is almost exactly the same as it was at the end of round 2. So that is a huge win for me to go 17 days after P2 and not have gained. I technically am at a gain. I'm at a point 0.1 gain, but uh, that's meaningless. So I'm happy about that. I was hoping that I could get myself to lose weight a little bit on P3, and at first the numbers were going down at the beginning of it, so I was so encouraged. But now I think the longer I'm on it, the more food intake I'm doing. So I'm still doing pretty good. For being 17 days in, I'm doing pretty good on the carbs. I'm definitely keeping my carbs under 30 a day, which is what you're supposed to do. But I believe for me, I probably should keep it much lower than that and stick closer um, to the P2 level of carbs. Well, actually, you're allowed to have 2 apples a day, and that's over 30 calories. So there you go. Basically doing the same, but like for my body, I need to keep it even below that if I want to lose. That's okay. Maintaining is a good thing until I'm ready to jump back into another round. So I wanted to talk about dry fruits today. And that's because everywhere I read, when it talks about what fruits you can have, it always says no dry fruits at all, no dried fruits, no dried fruits, no dried fruits. So I wanted to do a little bit of research into why does it get more sugar? Does it like multiply the sugar as it gets condensed? Does something happen and it crystallizes and then there's more calories in it? Or is it simply that you just eat a lot more of it? And here's what I found in my research. The answer is it's a little bit of both. I'm using as sort of like my end all be all, because there's lots of sites that talk about it, the Wake Internal Medicine Consultant Company's website. So they're an internal medicine group. So I felt like they were very knowledgeable in this area. And sure enough, in the end, they ended up saying the same thing that I had thought, which is that when you make dried fruit, so you have a prune, or let's say you have a plum and you want to make it a prune and you shrink it down, it goes from, a small hand size to a little circle. And apricot's the same thing. It's about the size of a small, fits in your hand if it's small. Um, between let's see, I want to say between a golf ball and a tennis ball, but it could be a tennis ball size, I suppose. But then it shrinks down to the size of like a $50 coin. Of course, circular though. Well, no, it's flat really, but it's thicker than the size of a coin. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. It shrinks a lot. So what do people do when they go to have dried fruit? They grab a handful of it or more, because dried fruit tastes so good that you can just keep eating it. The other part that I read is that depending on what company makes the dried fruit for you, oftentimes they add sugar to it. So you have to check the labels when you're shopping for dried fruit, if you are going to have dried fruit, and make sure that there's no sugar added to it, that it has the same sugars that are naturally in the fruit, and that's the only sugar that's in it, that it was just dried. If you have a dehydrator little machine thingy doey, as many people do, I don't have one of those. I wouldn't use it enough to justify it taking up the space. in my kitchen. But if you have one of those and you can make your own dried fruit, then you know that it is the same caloric value as the actual fruit. But you just have to remember, if you normally would have only eaten one apricot, you can only have one piece of dried fruit. And that's sometimes like saying eat one potato chip out of the bag and leave the rest. It's hard. You get a taste of it and you just want a few more. So you have to figure that all into your calorie count. But it doesn't spike the numbers. So technically it is okay if you can control yourself, and monitor your intake and only have one or two pieces of dried fruit, then it's okay. Then again, stay away from banana chips because we already know that bananas are the fruit that we're staying away from on P3 anyway. So banana chips are out. But basically, all the rest of them, apple chips and apricots and prunes and raisins, they pointed out that they specifically used raisins. They said if you have 15 or 10 grapes, and that's equal to 10 raisins, is the same caloric value as long as you're not adding sugar to it. Well, 10, I mean, how many are in the small little boxes of raisins? Probably 30. So it's not a serving size. So you really have to monitor yourself. Raisins would be the toughest one because they are so small. My answer would be, if there's a fruit you absolutely love and you want to have it dried, like if there's a dried fruit you like, there's some dried fruits that I like that I'm not as big a fan of the regular fruit. Like I like apricots dried a lot. To me, it's like a special treat. It's like dessert. Uh, but an actual apricot, take it or leave it. Care less. So if there's something like that, I then you just have to do what I will do, and that is not eat more than two, but keep in mind the carbohydrate content of two apricots and put that into my mind, which means I probably could not have any more carbs for the day if I'm trying to stay within my restricted carb limit of under 30 a day. All right, that's it. I feel bad that I don't have dried fruit pictures here. I have gingerbread. Anyway, I hope that was informational for you. It was for me. I had to do a little bit of research. I mean, that's what my brain figured out initially, but nobody says that. They just say don't have it. Just don't. But you can. Just be careful. Watch your labels and watch your portions. Portion control. That's our life, right? All right, you take care. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll be in touch tomorrow or the next day. Tomorrow and the next day, I'm supposed to go to the water park, but I think I still have a class that didn't get booked, so I won't open it up. All right, you take care. Bye.